friend, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new around here, well, my name is Mac and I'm a leadership coach, but I actually work specifically with first-time team managers and helping them to become effective leaders. And before I get into the content, which is juicy, if I may say so myself, I just want to let you know that I'm actually hosting a free masterclass. The masterclass is entitled How to Become a Confident, Competent, and Effective People Manager. So if that sounds interesting to you, get registered by using the link in the description box below. All right, so let's jump into this content, shall we, today? Because like I said, it's juicy. But let's start off by actually defining what I am calling a manager date. So this manager date is essentially like a reoccurring time on your calendar that is a non-negotiable, meaning it happens religiously every single week. And this time on your calendar is dedicated to you so that you can think, so that you can build, so that you can assess, so that you can organize. Those are essentially the core things that you are doing during that manager date that you're having with yourself. So I'm sure you've heard the saying before that time flies when you're having fun. But I also know it to be true that time flies when you're operating in total and complete chaos. And when you're leading and managing a team, right, and you're managing so many tasks, it can be very easy to fall into this cycle of like just consistently operating in this chaos without even a thought. And it can have you feeling like every single day is a marathon and that you're just running and not accomplishing anything, which is so frustrating. Forget frustrating, it's also demotivating because you feel like your efforts aren't actually making a difference, like nothing is changing. Now, yes, while there are some tasks in our day that are associated with keeping the lights on, which is usually like firefighting type of stuff, there should be some tasks or time in our day that is actually dedicated to making things better. But as you already know, making things better doesn't happen based on hamster wheel chaotic activity. It comes with purposeful planning, analyzing, and building. Hence, the weekly manager date that I'm talking about. So during this weekly manager date, you want to do three things. Number one is you want to analyze through debriefing. So debriefing has been honestly one of the best tools that I have ever added to my toolkit. You know, just that moment of pause to really think about what's been done, what's not working, and what I can improve has drastically improved my performance. And I've actually watched it improve the performance of many teams when they actually apply it properly. Applying yourself to this cadence is super beneficial because what you're doing is really thinking about what could have been done differently. You're thinking about how people are tracking towards their goals, how much time you're spending in wasteful activity, how much time you're spending in the bucket of, keeping the lights on as opposed to moving the department forward. Just that moment of debrief brings this level of awareness to your daily activities that you would not really have if you're just like going through the week without stopping. And so that's one of the things that you want to make space for in your manager date time so that you're actually analyzing the work that you're doing so that you can make different decisions as you move forward. So the second thing you want to do during this time is plan by setting priorities. The other thing that is so beautiful about debriefing is that it sets you up for a really good planning session because of the fact that you are surfacing awareness, which allows you to make thoughtful decisions. You're not just sitting there for the week and planning out a bunch of activities based on what you think the team should be doing. No, you're actually sitting there and planning out the week's activities based on what you know is necessary, which means that you're planning based on purpose instead of reaction, which is two very different things, right? And I often talk about this fact that I want y'all to get out of reaction mode and get into proactive mode. This is one of the things that helps you become more proactive, is that you're planning out what you're doing with thoughtfulness as opposed to just like doing all the time. You know what I mean? Now, yes, I recognize that some of the things that you have to do will be a little bit reactionary, right? Just because of the nature of work. Sometimes you have to put like really important things on back burner in order to take care of the things that are urgent right up front. But that's still a purposeful decision rather than having it just be done to you and you don't recognize that you're literally operating in chaos all the time. With this part of your date where you're like really planning out the priorities, what you're doing is actually isolating a focus for the week so that people can be mindful as they go through the week, as opposed to thoughtlessly doing things and again, operating in that chaos. I want you to isolate and identify what is most important, and then also identify the things that you will need to say no to so that the focus is still like front and center, as opposed to people just doing all the things and losing track of what they need to be focused on. So that is kind of the second thing I want you to do, is isolate what is most important, what is the focus of the week. So the third part of your agenda is to build by delegating. And what I mean by that is I really want you to like take a look at all the things that need to be done, all those priorities, and then think about who needs to do what, as well as who needs to be upskilled so that those things can be done. Now, yes, I know delegation requires a lot more than just like 5 minutes in this weekly manager date. But what I'm actually asking you to do is at least just think about who can do what and what skill set is required for these things that need to be done. Otherwise, what's going to end up happening is things are going to just end up piling up on you, or things aren't going to get done, or far worse, what I've seen happen is that you will just hang on to it instead of delegating it to other people, which isn't good, because we should be utilizing delegation as a mechanism to developing our people. So what I'm asking, like I said, what I want you to do during this like 5 minutes in your manager date time is I want you to really be thinking about who you need to build up to be able to do the thing. Or maybe it's a process. Like, what is the process or system that you need to build in order to do this thing so that you guys are consistently moving, right? Like, that's kind of what I'm talking about when I say build. I want you to build the machine to get whatever you need to get done, whether it be through a person or through a process or through a system. And I will say, just as a little bit of a side note here, even if you decide that it's a process that needs to be built out, I would still consider delegating that to someone instead of you actually building out the process. And just throwing that out there because you have a whole lot of other important things to do. And so why not upskill somebody else by asking them or tasking them with the responsibility of building out this process, or at least, at the very least, documenting it so that they're working on another skill set. And that's pretty much it in terms of this agenda for your manager date. 30 minutes of your time, and I promise you it'll make a significant impact on your day-to-day for yourself as well as your team, right? So just 30 minutes, and you can do it at the end of the week or you could do it at the beginning of the week. For me, I like to do it on a Friday because I feel like everything is like really fresh on Friday, like I'm just completing the week so it feels fresh. But I know some of the managers in my accelerator program that do this on a Sunday night or on a Monday. So it's really about what works for you. And it does not have to be that long. Like, it doesn't need to be hours. It could literally just be 30 minutes, right? And you start off with that debrief, thinking through what, all the things. And then it moves into planning and really isolating your focus and your priorities. And then it concludes with that build out of delegation, like in terms of like isolating who can do what, or what process needs to be built or system needs to be implemented in order to accomplish some of those priorities and to make sure that people are actually focused on what needs to be done. So I definitely want to encourage you to see if you can like embed that into your schedule, because I know it'll make an impact for you. So that is pretty much it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, do give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on any other videos that I share on this channel every single week. And like I said on the onset of this video, don't forget that I'm actually also hosting a free masterclass entitled How to Become a Confident, Competent, and Effective Leader. And if that sounds interesting to you, definitely get registered using the link in the description box below. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I so appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.